I can't do this anymore. I mean, it was like almost suicide watch.
Well, that's a dark theme.
Yeah.
Maybe that's because this episode is dark.
Very, very
Hit him with the intro.
dark.
Dark chocolate.
Dark podcast. There's a better dark podcast.
It's dark.
Cocoa.
It's dark.
Dark.
It's
Like
dark.
the beer you're drinking. Dark.
Oh, good. This is become a thing where we harmonize with our non-night court.
The night court counter continues.
I've learned my lesson from that.
Welcome
This is not night court.
to Not Night Court. Your dial's locked on to another edition of There Is a Better Podcast. Welcome to episode 006. I'm Tony. Across from me is
Mike.
And we've got Ghosty here, who's come back for a second episode. Whoa.
We could be onto something here. Have your own little intro.
I was gonna call you Casper, but then we were gonna get sued for it. So
No, maybe I was just being too.
Casper's an official name.
I like
Yeah, I
Casper.
think we can get a little. I was being really
did-
cautious and it go because I didn't want to like copyright on other stuff or like copyright infringement. So I think I went way over the top with this, where we were just our only material, which was probably a mistake.
That's okay.
Ghosty is fine though, because as you heard in the last episode, we got a chance to make a nameplate for you, and it's spelled GHOSTYYYYYYY.
Thanks to Mike.
Yeah, that's you still. I don't think either one of you believe me that that's a thing, but
That's the thing.
I don't know. We got a date afterwards, so it's working for me.
I'm buying for dinner, so you better put out.
You didn't have to buy me dinner.
I didn't have to, but I want you to put out. So
That's so
yeah,
And
sweet
you
of
didn't
you.
have to buy me dinner to do that.
Can we stop the podcast? We got something to do here. As you heard, we
Thank you for
cracked a
that.
new one. We have recycled beer. This is a week later, and we still have the same Coors Light. We didn't finish them all the first time. So I'm in suffrage round 2.
Suffrage? You mean you're able to vote?
Yes,
Suffering round 2. I didn't vote for Coors Light. You just happened to not bring another one, and I'm lazy to not get more beer.
No.
So it was what was left over from the last time.
You enjoyed it. I wanted you
did.
to be happy during the episode, so I bought some for
hopelessly
you.
enjoyed it.
Hey, in this week's episode, we are talking about
A bridge?
we still have our ripped from the headlines, which has a little twist on it this week, which I'll tell you about.
Oh yes, it's very dark.
Yeah. I'm going to do a review, not really a review, but a breakdown of Ed Kempher, also known as the Coed Killer.
The last time that you said you were going to do a breakdown, you cried
Yes.
uncontrollably for 45 minutes, and all it was because the microwave didn't heat your food up fast enough.
And Mike's...
The thing is, you didn't even have anything in the microwave. You threw a rag in there. I don't know why you're trying to eat a rag. Is this the Coors Light acting up again?
In Mike's movie review this week.
movie review.
Put a little impact on that one.
Hey, do we want to do another ad thing for
nope,
Mike's movie
nope,
reviews?
only
1, 2, 3.
Jesus, I
It's
lost control.
Movies reviews. You get the reviews in the movies with Michael.
Can you tune up a
Can I get a
harmonica?
I've lost
Give me a B
total
sharp.
control. I'm in the weeds.
Perfect.
I'm trying to get control back here. No, this is fun. I'm doing. It's actually
no,
not
really, it's fun.
Oh, yeah.
everybody. I'm
Really
having
fun,
such a
really
great time.
fun.
Everybody. No, the movie review this week is not a movie. It's a series on Netflix called Everybody in the World Knows It, except for the 2 other guys in this room. Actually, another guy and a ghost on the other side of Making a Murderer. And actually, we're going to close the show talking about dick pics, which it just occurred to me in this moment that we've talked about so much phalluses in this show. It's not even funny. We talked about Napoleon's penises. We
Yes.
talked about...
And I heard that they made those into like mini hot dogs.
Jesus Christ.
So you can like go to your supermarket or whatever. Hot dogs in a what do they call those? Not hot dogs in a bun.
Hot dogs in a blanket?
Pigs in a blanket.
Pigs in a blanket.
Now they're just called Napoleons.
Yes.
What?
Then we talked about the hey with the 15 Y's on it that means you want a penis. And now we're going to talk about dick pics because I have some strong feelings about people and what's going on with dick pics.
So, dick pickies. Dick pickies, several Y's.
Yeah. All right.
All right, what do
You
we
can get a
got?
dicky
Oh,
picky,
for
but you
those
can't
don't-
get picky about the dicky.
That don't know where we are and somehow still made to this point of the show. We are a variety entertainment podcast that talk about a variety of different topics, as in I talk about true crime every now and then. If, there's a movie review in every episode. We talk about current headlines. We are much finding our way. This is only our 6th episode in, so every time it evolves into something different, and we're having a good time doing that.
And entertainment
Like I
is
said, we're
still
having a good time.
subjective every time.
Yes.
Subjective. Yes, subtractive.
Subjective.
It's subtractive. Chekhov? Chekhov.
Come on.
All right, I'm going to drink my beer. Go.
Grammarly, please sponsor us because
Make it.
I need so much help. I need so much.
Before we get into this, I just want to say thank you for bringing snacks. You brought cashews, and I just want to say I enjoy licking your salty nuts.
Get those salty nuts right now. Those
In
are
my
real.
mouth.
Those are cashews. So
Yes.
only the best for you, Tom.
I love cashews.
I
love cashew outside. Cash me outside.
Catch me outside, bae. How about that though? Ripped from the headlines. Tony, did you bring anything today?
So last week I totally failed. And I'll admit that.
Oh wait, we did forget one thing, and I knew I was going to do this.
What's that?
Hey, for those listening this week,
for those who are listening this week,
this is serious,
serious, Tony.
This is this
This is what he did last week.
time.
Yeah, he does this to me every week.
Yeah.
This is a darker episode. Those that somehow, whatever reason, if you're listening to us when you're younger, or those without I don't go into that much detail regarding
Younger. We're only 6 episodes in. How much younger can they be?
We have an audience view from 16 to 19. I saw.
Oh, you're
that.
talking about people who are listening right now who are younger than
Yes.
18.
It is a trigger warning. It has some rougher content than our normal easy free-going selves. It's a little bit darker. It's a murder theme episode, so it's going to be darker if you can't handle that.
So Tony will not be here by the end of the
and
episode. Is that what
I
you're
will be
saying?
throwing up on the floor, is what you're saying.
That is my goal. I'm going to make him Ralph,
Please
the
do.
rest of those Twizzlers, my salty nuts, and those
I will
Reese's peanut
throw
butter
up
cups?
all over
yep,
your salty
and
nuts.
maybe even the Natty Light that he's drinking. I mean, the Coors Light.
Coors Light, Natty Light. It's
Same
all the
thing.
same. Yeah.
So at this, I yield the floor to you, good sir, about your ripped from the headlines.
Okay, so ripped from the headlines. This came across my desk the other day, and I just want to throw this out to both of you, both Mike and Ghosty. So a man was imprisoned, and I'm not going to tell you how long it was, for these 4 crimes that he was committed at the age of 16. So normally, states would charge him as a minor, correct? If they were to, okay.
Yeah.
He was charged for robbery, assault, kidnapping, and armed criminal action. 4 things. Did not kill anybody, did not rape anybody, did not do anything other than he robbed somebody, he assaulted somebody else. So it was 2 people that he was acting upon, along with somebody else. But this person in particular, for those 4 charges that he was, for those 4 things that he was charged for, maybe I'll give a little bit more weight to it. He was committed and sentenced in Missouri. How many years do you think that he was imprisoned for at the age of 16?
At the age of 16. When was this? What year? Do you know?
He's 42 now, so 42 minus math equals strain.
Early 2000 or 1990s?
It was 95. I had to look that up again.
So,
and his accomplice was 18 years old.
Okay.
So he is a minor. His accomplice
I say
was
that he got
a major.
well, Missouri.
Yeah. So
I'd say 40 years max, and it
40
shouldn't
years
be anything
max.
more than that.
10 years per crime.
Yes.
Okay. What do you think, Ghosty?
At 16?
At 16 is, again, a minor. Boys will be boys.
It shouldn't have been that much.
I mean,
that
it-
time.
It shouldn't be that much.
I don't really
40 is a long
make
time.
it a habit of being in the court system, so I'm just going to go ahead and agree with Mike on this one.
Okay, so we got to vote
By the
for
way,
40.
it should not have been near. It should not be anything near that.
241 years.
Are you shitting me?
241 years. He was convicted at age 16 and is serving a sentence of 241 years. What's interesting about this, too, is that the judge that had sentenced him is now trying to plea, and this has gone up to the Supreme Court, to release him now the same judge who had convicted him is now trying to fight for him to be released.
I believe the jury convicts.
Well, the jury convicts. Yeah, that's
Okay,
where I was
yes,
going
you're
with
right.
that.
The jury convicts him, and he had served this area.
He had to do the sentencing now.
Yes, he put down the sentence. But now he's advocating for this person.
As he should, because it's fucking bullshit.
It is fucking bullshit. 241 years for 4 crimes to be committed, along with an accomplice. Now, I didn't hear anything about his accomplice. Probably got off with lesser of a charge, but the individual's name is Bobby Bostic. Is it Bostic or Bostic? Bostic. Bobby Bostic.
I've heard it both ways.
I'm going to go with Bostic.
He's related to Barry Bostwick.
Is he from the New Jersey Devils?
I don't know. He was in the damn Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, I thought you were talking
yeah.
about the baseball player.
No.
Dude, who are you talking to? What do I know about sports?
We covered that in the last episode, and if you haven't
Rocky
heard
Horror
it, you have
Picture
to go
Show,
back
I
to
can
it.
talk about that shit all day.
You know,
But
the-
you don't know it's the same ghostie from each episode, though.
Susan Sarandon, though, totally got my bat all the way into the home run territory. So that is definitely a sports
digressing.
movie. That's a sports movie, in my opinion.
Continue your story, sir.
Yes.
So
Right
Bobby
now.
Bostic, convicted at age... I'm sorry, I didn't mean
Barry
to laugh
Bostwick.
at that. Barry Bostic, convicted
no,
at
Bobby.
age 16. Did I say Barry?
Yeah, he did.
See what you're doing to me.
Oh,
so-
I do it all the
So
time.
my other question is, like, what other cases have happened in Missouri that are more heinous than that? Have there been rape cases that have gone off, with fewer punishments? What's the word I'm trying to look for here when the crime does not, or when the punishment does not fit the crime?
Excessive.
Marriage?
Oh. Zing!
Duh. Winning.
Sorry to the only married guy in the room.
I know. Leave me out of this, boy.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so there is an ongoing petition to attempt to release him early. Bobby Bostic, Bostic.
Oh yeah, hold on. Before you go any further, did the story actually indicate as to why the judge is now trying to
Because he
assist?
realized that this was not that this
Because it
was
was
an
excessive
excessive
as hell.
sentence. Yeah, and so he believes after the sentencing he's retired now. So that's
What was the year then?
what's that?
Well, when did this happen?
He was convicted or sentenced in 1995,
Okay.
and so I actually am just doing a little bit more reading. Apparently, his accomplice was only given 30 years in prison. What the fuck?
Okay, what the fuck? Yeah, that's
What the actual fuck? 241 years for a person who is 16 years old versus 30 years in a plea deal for a person who was of age.
And the other cat was 18?
He was 18. He was of age. And he only got 30 years in a plea deal. So how is it that there could be
My company's payroll
Son of a
compliance needs
bitch.
keep growing in 2021.
2 episodes in a row. How is this happening?
really good at
How
this?
is it that my company's payroll?
Is can we not do anything serious here? Apparently not. Anyway, Bobby Bostic, Bostic. I highly recommend to just do a little bit of a Google search on it.
Not Barry Bostwick.
Not Barry Boswick, no, and not Tom Boswell either. The guy from the Hair Club for Men guy, I think it is. Yes. So my question is why? How could that garner a sentence of 241 years? How could that garner a sentence of even more than 30 years? If you do 5 years per person, okay, I can understand that. If you do 10 years per person, that's a lot. But 241 years for 4 crimes and your age of 16,
Something's not right.
Does
here.
not
This
compute.
screams some type of injustice of
And-
some sort. I
Right.
believe in the early 2000s, most of these outrageous sentences were declared inconstitutional, and they, with the big broom, had to go through and resentence all
there
these
was a change, and he was not a part of it.
because he didn't get life. I think it has to be life. If you get
Yep.
by
I
that
believe you are correct,
241,
sir. Yep.
makes him exempt from that, which is
Right. Life
total
is
bullshit.
Life is just a term.
Yeah, well,
It is a term. It's a
technically,
word.
it doesn't consider 241 years.
No, because it's
as
not literally. It is not life.
such horseshit. Why don't we
But
not
that's
have
exactly what they
standardized
take you from it?
standardized sentencing Like this crime is this like all the way across the United States. It takes out racial prejudice. It takes out
I don't know
all
why I
this
thought
other
you were going to say Rachel Ray. I'm like, what does
No.
she have to do with this here?
No, it seems like such bullshit. Like that some person can commit the same crime and gets like probation, and somebody else gets 5 fucking years for the same damn thing. Like this is insane.
Draconian measures need to be reviewed. And I don't care who you are. I don't care what you. I don't care. I do not care. If you do a certain crime, it should have there should be some standards to it. And I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a judge. I'm not part of the system at all. I'm just a stupid idiot who is part of a podcast who hits buttons
with other stupid idiots.
You're an idiot.
And that's what I do.
And if you don't like it,
there is a better podcast.
Oh, it's like when they say their name during the podcast. It's so amazing. I made a meme. I made a meme about that. That was trending for a little bit. Anyways, other rip from the headlines here. I didn't say when the headlines have to happen, right?
No,
So-
they're just in the headlines, and usually meaning that they're current. But you know,
Oh, there's a twist.
well, this has been going on since 1995, so I'm going to go ahead and say this doesn't have to be current. But go ahead,
This is a twist.
twist and shout.
The
Knock
twist
yourself
is
out.
that I looked up strange, like
you
darker
looked up
murder
strange shit.
Type things.
Sex type
At
things?
the time, no, not this time.
Oh.
Remember when Teddy Roosevelt was shot during
say-
his speech?
did you say-
Teddy Roosevelt.
Oh, I
Did
thought
they-
you said
did they
Teddy
have
Roosevelt.
the
I'm like,
internet
I'm all
then?
in. I don't know. There was a quote from Abraham Lincoln. He said, "Don't believe everything you read on the internet,"
Yes. Teddy Roosevelt was
was
shot
him.
during his speech, finished his speech,
and then
which
collapsed.
is pretty. No. He's like, it's going to take more than that to kill this bull moose.
Wow.
yeah,
It kind of led to.
I actually know about this.
Yeah.
Dimebag
What a-
Daryl should have been paying attention.
I don't know that much about Teddy, but everything I read, he's a manly
the
man.
dude
legend.
was a freaking
He was a tank.
badass.
Big ass hunter. I know that. He had all
was a
kinds of animals
badass.
in the White House.
Yeah, manly man.
This
He was a manly man doing
can-
manly things.
Manly men.
Another
By Menon.
right after. We're not sponsored by Menon, but whatever.
We should be.
Bring
I
it.
can smell it.
By women.
We can be sponsored by women too.
Okay, I'm gonna
Please.
never play that one again.
That one's a little overmodulated.
Please never play that again. I never want to hear that again in the podcast. If it's all the same. I actually right after this. Okay, donkey. Right after that, I learned something I did not know, and I'm a history buff, so you're always learning things.
About Teddy?
No, not about Teddy, but another
Titty?
true crime related to like assassination tips.
Titty Roosevelt.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Titty Roosevelt. That was his wife.
FDR,
Oh, Franklin.
Not related.
not related.
Oh,
Survived an assassination attempt, which I did not know. It was in Miami in 1933. This shooter, which I didn't use his name because I didn't want to give him justice, shot at FDR, but hit the mayor of Chicago, Anton Samark. He died several weeks later of the injury.
Huh.
He fired one shot at FDR, and the crowd just set on him. They just went after him, and they started ripping this guy apart. I think he survived it, but they started beating the shit out of him.
You've got to be kidding.
They caught him pretty easily. He ended up getting a couple other shots off, but they were all over the place. They didn't hit the mark. I didn't want to go all dark with the ripped from the headlines. You know that Amy Poehler was trending
Yes.
on Twitter recently?
Yes.
You guys know why?
Oh, boogers.
You want to know why?
so apparently
Go ahead, Tom.
there was a woman who looked like her.
Yes, she does. She does look like
She
her.
does look like her.
I have some facts about this.
But I have to admit, one versus the other, I would go with Amy Poehler.
Oh, Amy Poehler's fantastic.
Oh, she's hilarious. She's
Poor Amy Poehler that has to
Amy
trend
Poehler's
because of this
awesome.
bullshit
but it's
story.
Too bad that yes,
I remain anonymous on this, right?
I'm anonymous.
How much
I'm
more
anonymous.
anonymous do you want to be? You're already a ghost.
She looks like my ex-wife.
Oh, Jesus.
She looks like my ex-girlfriend. I don't care. I'd still.
So,
Good Lord, that one just.
God, delete that one too.
Yeah, that needs to go away.
Or just shorten it. You don't need to flush the toilet that long.
All right. So the tagline said, "Woman arrested for squirting at police officers in self-defense."
That's it.
Don't say anything more.
You don't need to talk anymore. That's
No.
the story is done. It's done.
No, I'm gonna do it.
All right.
I'm gonna do it. Let's let it resonate.
That really is the end, though.
Poor Amy Poehler.
It can't be topped.
No, that's it. The show's over. Hit it with the outro.
And Night
Night
Court.
Bring it back. I want to hear about the squirting.
So the picture, right?
Squirtle. Wait,
You think
is
it's a recent picture and a recent story, right? It's total fucking bullshit. The picture is from 2008. It's from an arrest in Houston, Texas. Hi, like Houston or Texas viewers that we had last episode.
I was going to say,
They're gone
is this about our Texas listeners?
And a satirical website made the whole fucking thing up just to
What?
do it. None of it was real. She was not arrested anytime soon. It was the whole thing was made up for views.
So then the question is this really to get Amy Poehler back in Twitter?
Stripping?
The Twitterverse.
Do you think
I'm
Amy
okay with
Poehler
that.
wants to be known for this horse shit?
You know, I mean, no publicity is, or there's no such thing as bad publicity.
No.
Right. Exactly.
We all paused for that.
Well, because the other sound bits have gone on for 3.5 minutes, and that one just went on for a couple of seconds. It kind of threw everybody off. You know what? Let's go right into the Michael's movie review. That's not a movie; it's a series this time.
Michael Movies Reviews. Michael's Movie Reviews.
That's it. That at one time that was Michael's. I accidentally said Michael's mail review.
Michael's Mail Review.
When I go through your mail. I go through your mail with you. You got a letter from Grandma. It's got a sweater in it that's knitted from her and a crisp $20 bill.
You're an idiot.
Anyways,
If it was Grandma's 20, it's probably not crisp. I'm just saying.
she got it right from the bank. Either that or
It comes with
either that or
5
from
Werther's
Ghosty's
originals.
thong that we had to pay him for our intros. Or wait, no, outros. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. So this week, I'm doing something that's came up. It was. Jesus, I'm losing everybody again. It was a huge episode. No. That was a huge series for Netflix. The first season was years ago, and it follows the story of Stephen Avery and Brandon Dassey. The first season was amazing. The second season was, I felt a little bit more confused by it. I thought they missed the style and the mystery of the first season.
A mystery.
No, we're not. Don't you dare.
Choosing.
But what both series are truly missing, and both seasons,
Benjamin Buttons.
they
Continue.
They
missed. What did they miss?
Do you want me to shut him up?
We're getting close. Especially how serious the next line is. But they're really both seasons.
Knock it off. Knock it off.
All right, he's done.
Yeah, just lay on the floor.
Can I have a bandage at least?
They missed out and marginalized the true tragedy of the murder of Teresa Hellback.
Wait, okay. So you're talking about this made for...
Hellback or Hellback?
I ain't no Hellback girl. So this not made for TV, but basically it was a Netflix, you said?
Yes, Netflix.
Okay, so this Netflix series, they completely missed the mark, like Michael Bay missed the mark on... What was the name of that movie?
Transformers?
I don't know.
Did he do Transformers?
Pearl Harbor sucks. Oh yeah, that's what it was. He missed the mark on Pearl Harbor.
Most of the world,
Okay, I
except
stole
for
that from,
all the people in this room besides
Team
me
America.
And one ghost, have already heard of this case, but I'll give a brief synopsis of it. Stephen Avery was wrongly convicted of sexual assault and attempted murder of Penny Bernstein. He was eventually released after 18 years and sues the county. This happened in Wisconsin, Wakalana.
And
County.
yet my man Bobby Bostick is still in jail.
Well, this other guy admitted to the crime. Stephen Avery never did it. It was just a wrongful thing, and they kind of steered the evidence towards him. So he filed a $36 million lawsuit for wrongful imprisonment, right?
Okay.
The series eventually evolves into what transpires years later. This is after Stephen
What
gets
was
out
that
of jail.
word again? Transpires?
Transpires. Shut up,
I
bitch.
hit the emphasis on the wrong
When
syllable.
Teresa Hellback is murdered, and Brendan Dassey's
Dossier?
Dossier? That's Stephen's nephew, confesses to the murder that it's him and Stephen Avery that does it. This is not like Maury Povich. This actually happened. He gets wrongly convicted.
He is not the father.
He eventually 18 years later comes out of prison because they know he didn't do it. Then I think it was 3 years later, Teresa Hellback is murdered. Then his nephew confesses to it and saying that it was both of them. Which is, if you watch the first season, it's fascinating because... hold on, I'll get to that part because I don't want to bury the lead.
Not going to lie, I forgot the name of the series.
You are burying the lead by not telling us.
Making a Murderer.
Making a Murderer.
Making a Murderer.
Season 2, that's season 1. Season 2 looks at the evidence because Brendan Dassey and Stephen Avery are convicted of the murder and currently in prison in Wisconsin for this. What both seasons failed to address is the struggle and even acknowledging Teresa's Helbeck's death. Like, they sensationalize this and marginalize it for viewers, and it's really hard to even relate to. So
really, they're trying to like paint the villain as a hero somehow? Yes, and they absolutely, season 1 says, basically imply that not that they're heroes, that they're not guilty. My entire thought process then about Making a Murderer is it's a how-to series. You're really learning how to make a murderer.
No, that's not what this is.
Oh, well then fuck that.
The whole series revolves around her murder, and yet she's an afterthought. There's no sorrow, there's no empathy, and it's really hard to watch when you think of it from that angle. But you don't think of it from the angle because the way the producers and the way it's put out there, you're only seeing from the sense that, are these two guys not guilty because of this? Is it a setup?
So they basically just kind of make the whole murder itself.
It's a
side note.
They sensationalize it.
It's a side note.
Yeah. And I take issue with it as a whole. Is it good television?
I can see that.
And I hope you guys, I know Tony in particular is not into the show at all, but
I just like to speculate and make it seem like I know what I'm talking about.
I'm not as much into it as I used to, but I get what you're saying, that's for sure. You see it, I'm trying to think of some of the stuff I've seen recently where I'm just like, okay, you completely missed the fact that somebody died as people are hurting, blah, 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 yeah.
It's hard once I started to think of it from that angle. And the whole first season, I didn't think of it from her angle. I thought about it, or her family's angle. I thought about it from them and from the people that were wrongly accused at the time. All that aside, I don't know if Stephen or Brendan did this or not. Sometimes I'm convinced that they did, and other times I'm not sure.
Well, that's probably what they want from you, though.
Yes. People forgot that this is a show. They were wanting you to come from one side only. They're giving you the facts from the defense side only. They're sensationalizing this and blowing up certain aspects of the case, and they're not looking into the prosecution side at all. I forgot where I was going with this.
I don't know. You better hurry. We only have an hour.
Don't you have it written down there?
I do. I have it all written down. I got pages of it.
No, notes are usually used for people who want to use them.
Oh, some facts in this case are absolutely...
Thank God he's not a lawyer.
Thank God.
I have people skills. I am good at dealing with people. Can't you understand that? What the hell is wrong with you people?
Did you find the longest bits in history and decided to throw it all into one episode? Are we even talking during this episode, or is it all bits?
Oh, it's all bits.
Some facts in this case are absolutely stunning. Brendan Dassey's confession. He was 16 years old at the time. Him and his mother...
Back to the 16-year-old people who were fucking convicted.
Yep. That's why I said there was a nice tie-in later. See, it all comes full circle.
Wow. We were going to call ourselves that at one point?
Yeah.
Yeah. Circle back.
Circle back now, y'all.
That was the first name. Circle jerk. Yeah.
So somehow they convince...
But we only had two people, so it was more like a line jerk.
Mm-hmm. Straight line.
I could see a ladder jerk.
A ladder jerk?
A ladder jerk.
What about a stairwell jerk?
I mean, you guys would be more or less like a ladder or an H.
We digress.
It'd be an H if you're facing me.
Do you want... Are you talking about a capital letter H? Could we do a lowercase h? Well, that would just be like a rear pounding.
You could do the lowercase
Could do a lowercase h.
And back to me.
Okay.
Back to murder.
Back to murder.
Meanwhile,
he was 16 years old at the time.
It for you.
Jesus.
That was aggressive.
And they convinced him and his mother, without a lawyer, to sign a waiver and allow them to grill him for hours.
Yeah.
With the detectives, and the whole time, like, they actually show a lot of it during season 1 in particular of the confession. It's hard to watch. It is really hard to watch, and there's a whole lot of
shit
leading the witness on, leading this conspirer on. They're like, no, you didn't say it was this way. You said it was this way. You're like, no, Brandon, damn it, you said it this way. They're saying this during the case. It's stunning. It's hard to watch.
So they're trying to refute the witness.
Yes. Well, no. They're trying to get a confession out of him.
Oh.
Because they're pretty sure he did it. Or more importantly, they're pretty sure his uncle did it.
Gotcha.
So after hours, he finally confesses and breaks down. But here's the other side of this. And as bad as it is to see this confession, how many confessions have you ever seen in your life?
Not counting all of mine.
Is it really that abnormal? I've never watched that many confessions. So I don't think
confessions are normal
I actually
at all.
used to be a Catholic priest, so it's really not.
How many murder confessions have you? That's my fault for not elaborating that a little bit clearer. Is it really that abnormal? It feels like sensationalism at best. So I'm down the middle. And what's more telling about this case has been a whole case revolves around his confession. The evidence that's a part of it is circumstantial at best, because they never find her body. They supposedly find parts of it. Supposedly. They can't even under DNA testing. They don't know.
They don't know. How would you not know with DNA testing?
It's iffy at best. And under numerous appeals, this has been overturned because of false confession or leading confession. Right. It was turned by the district court many years later. And more recently, it was turned over by the U.S. Court of Appeals in Chicago. Then, in an individual review, it was upheld. Then, a full view, they overturned it again. Each time by a vote of, first time was 2-1, then 3-2. So, professional judges that have done this their entire life look at this case and they say something's off here. Like both sides, It either goes one way or the other. Okay, this one's just overturned, then it's overturned. Now he's done. He can't get out now, Brendan Dassey in particular, because it's done at the federal level because the Supreme Court would not hear the case. It's gone right down the middle. It's really hard to see. What one thought about this that really sticks out to me, and they don't really talk about it during the case. You're dealing with a group of people, and I'm trying to say this in the nicest possible way.
I feel like there's a soapbox that you're about to step on here.
That are not the most intelligent people in the world. Brendan Dassey,
there's no soapbox.
He scored an incredibly low IQ test. Incredibly low. You can see it. He confesses to the murder. Then he says, hey, am I going to get out in time to go see WrestleMania?
Oh, Jesus. But you know, it's about priorities.
WrestleMania and Jesus.
Jesus. It's a full Sunday for you right there.
The whole time you're seeing like the Avery and Dassey's families, and you just hear them interact with each other. You hear them talking. There's an intelligence gap that is absolutely
extremely visible.
It's profound.
Yeah.
Were they led down this path? Were they set up? I don't know. Like the county has a whole lot of capital for him to go away because they were going to get hit with a $36 million lawsuit, and it was going to work. It screams set up at some point, but at the same time, it doesn't. In the sense that
who was it going to benefit for those who was it going to benefit?
The county was going to get out of the lawsuit if he goes into jail for murder, obviously.
Right, okay.
Like the Avery family has a car wrecking service. That's what they do. They wreck cars, right? Her car was found on the damn lot. How do you have a car service that gets rid of junk cars and you leave the victim's car on your own lot? There's like hundreds of ways for you to get rid of this. And yet they left it on his lot.
I think
Are
we've
you
seen
really
enough,
that stupid? Or you really just don't know?
We've seen enough shows though where they know how to dispose of a car.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
are they that stupid? But and the answer is yes, they are that stupid. I don't mean to be mean to them, but they are. Like you just listen to them like, oh my God, we're dealing with the lowest of low on the intelligence scale.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it. I mean, how do you convince somebody who has a lower IQ of something that a person with a higher IQ understandably knows and can? I don't know where I'm going with this. I've had a lot to drink so far today. No, but really, what I'm trying to get is, it's like that meme that says, it states, I think blah blah blah, change my mind. Same thing here. You can try and reason with a person who has no ability to reason, and they're not going to get it. They're not going to listen. They don't care one way or another unless you say, well, Rod Piper thinks this, and then all of a sudden, oh, okay, well, shit, if he's on that, if he's on that thought process, I'm there too, because WrestleMania.
Bobby Dassey is Brendan Dassey's brother. Bobby Dassey is probably the most influential witness in this case. He is so chummy with the police. They show this video of him working with the police department, and this is the brother of the guy that confesses, right?
Okay.
and they're best friends. Like the police officers and the detectives and him they're caught on camera just being laughing and joking in the hallways, right? Which I didn't really make anything of at the time. I'm like, oh, that's really weird. Later on, it's discovered that Bobby Dassey has hardcore, like watching people die, smut film porn, right? Why all of a sudden is he a eyewitness for the state on this? Did they have something on him? Like this whole thing screams terrible for both sides. The physical evidence in this case is inconclusive, in my opinion, at best.
It depends on also what you can submit in court and what you can't, because there are some things that can be and some things that can't be. You've probably done some jury duty. I've done some jury duty, and there are things which you can submit and which you can't. And even though something may be completely, open and shut evidence for a case that completely guiltifies, that's not a word, but I'm gonna go with that anyway. Guiltifies a person for lack of
it's got 3 syllables. That's kind of cool.
Well, yeah, just like 3 names. Guiltify. So John Wilkes Booth, guiltify. So if it guiltifies this person, then it should be an open and shut case, right? But no, it has to be admissible in court. It has to go through a process, and if it's determined inadmissible, then it doesn't stand a chance, even though it is evidence that completely either damns the person or sets them free. And that's kind of a shitty thing in our entire legal system. But again, I'm just an asshole who does a stupid podcast.
On the top of this, the prosecutor in this case was a guy named Ken Krantz. Ken Krantz.
Well, first of all,
either
go ahead.
The most vile person that you've ever heard of, according to these producers, or he is actually as seedy as he is in real life. I almost want to run into this guy in real life. He goes to CrimeCon and all this other stuff, which kind of pisses me off.
You just make a living off of this,
yes,
then?
Yeah, and you'll see why. Why is he not a prosecutor anymore, right? Oh, every time he every time he speaks about this case, he seems shallow, callous. He has no words of empathy for the Teresa Halbach. It feels forced and non-empathetic.
So he did it, allegedly.
The prosecutor, no, he didn't do this.
Well, it's not
he made a career out of this case, and he basically had no choice to, because, oh yeah, guess what? In 2010, he resigns for sexting the victim of a domestic violence case. So he's charging this lady's boyfriend, right? He's sexting the victim. The victim.
I'm trying to reach for my soundboard that says does not compute. I don't have that on there, but it does not compute.
What kind of vile person does that?
It's fucked up.
Somebody who's fucked up.
Yeah.
Which I think works as do not compute. Yeah.
Does not compute.
It's unbelievable. The facts of this case are unbelievable. The second season of this completely ruined it for me, mainly because they keep on droning about the same things over and over again. And his lawyer is Kathleen Zindler, who's a very famous defense lawyer that gets things overturned all the time. She comes off as an attention hog at best and exploiting the situation. As soon as I didn't even want to finish the second season because it was the same thing droning on that I barely got through it. I hated it. I will close with this. This case...
I was going to say, speaking of droning on...
This case feels to me as a weird combination of corruption from elected officials and police and guilt by some form or another from the Averys and the Dosseys, as well as the exploitation of Netflix for the series itself. I'm not sure of anybody's true guilt in this case, but only the thing that I'm sure of is that the Halbach family will never have true peace from it.
So that was 2 seasons that has been?
Yes, and my last line is, my suggestion is watch season 1, pass on season 2, and pretend like it never existed.
That's kind of the thing about Netflix, so they can do whatever they want. They got instant money. They got money coming in. They can greenlight a project if they want to. They can not. Doesn't matter.
At this point, I think it'd be a good point to hit them with our little midtro.
Really? We're
break.
at that point right now?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. I guess we're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
What?
Break, huh? Break.
What?
Break court.
What? Break court.
Break court.
This is the break.
Are you twerking, Mike?
From a seat? No.
Twerky. Twerk it up. Twerk it up.
Twerking and working.
Twerk, 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 twerk. There is a better
another
twerk.
Podcast.
Twerk, twerk, twerk. Twerk, 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 twerk.
something?
Welcome back to the second half. The episode. There
Fuck
is
you.
a
Don't welcome me.
podcast. You're like,
Don't
fuck
you
you. I've
cancel
got
culture me.
better things to do than be welcomed. Welcome to the second half of the Dark Day episode of There Is a Better Podcast.
Yes. Do we got lighter
Seriously,
subject matter for the?
if you-
Oh,
if
no, I'm
you
going to
made
a
it
serial
through-
killer next.
Oh,
You were not
God
going.
damn it,
oh, deeper in.
That's-
But we finished with dick
that's what
pics,
she
so.
said.
Hold on. Okay,
wait a
before we
minute.
get into it, one of the things that got me thinking was
What's that?
So you said you've served on jury duty.
I have.
Have you done that before?
No, actually, the only time that they actually tried to get me, I was actually overseas. I was
All
I was a Marine at the time, and they tried to get me from overseas, and
Wow.
nope, that ain't gonna work.
So you didn't end up in there. Did you end up actually serving and like going through the trial and all?
I did. We almost got to the end of the trial, and then it was a mistrial.
All right. So this is my one jury duty. It was a mistrial. What happened?
The defendant believed that there was some conversation happening outside of the courtroom with the jurors, and so each one of us was brought in by the judge and was questioned about any of our activity outside of the courtroom and outside of basically just outside of the courtroom, because we couldn't talk about anything. That was the rule. You could not talk about the case or any factors of the case or anything at all until after all the witnesses were brought in, all the questions were questioned, all the statements were made, and everything was done. Then it was your time as a juror to go figure out if this person is guilty or innocent. And apparently, the defendant believed that there was some conversation happening prior to this deliberation period. And so we were brought in, each individually, by the judge, all 12 of us, 12 angry jurors.
Thank you.
And then about 10 minutes after the last person was brought in and questioned, the prosecuting attorney, the defendant attorney, and the judge came back in with smiles on their faces and said, "Thank you for your service. We've considered this as a mistrial because the defendant still believed, even after all of your questioning, that there was outside influence of this jury. Therefore, we cannot consider this as an unbiased opinion, and we have to call it a mistrial."
Oh, that's pretty crazy.
And we were on our last day.
Gotcha.
We were on our last fucking day. And all we had to do was just go through lunch and then hear everything, and we were done with it. And then the next day, deliberate. We all were going to say he was guilty. In fact, she's like, "Yeah, you can talk about it now because you're not part of the trial anymore." So after all of us left the courtroom, we were all standing outside on the sidewalk, and we all just looked at each other. "He's guilty. Oh, God, he's guilty. He's guilty. This motherfucker's guilty."
Glorified stall tactic.
Probably.
Gross.
Yeah.
How
Is that
gross.
still fucking with you? Your mic?
No, I'd be a lot happier, and there'd be a big smile on my face if it was.
Is that mic still bothering you?
Oh, I like that.
It's kind of like when I dropped the commercials, or dropped the Twizzlers during commercial break.
Commercial.
So my one jury duty experience. Have I told you about that before?
I've not heard
think
it.
you're
Okay,
about to
so
tell us now.
basically the deal was
I don't think you've told the audience.
I went in. I've never actually gone and actually served, like sat through a trial or anything. One time I actually went in and got called into the courtroom. There was dolphins everywhere. It was amazing. Hashtag fucking orca. If you missed last week's, check it out.
Winning.
So no, I go in and basically the whole trial was revolving around a gentleman who went to a Burger King and robbed it at gunpoint. And they had that point where it's like, do you have any reason that you feel like you could not give an unbiased or, I don't know, opinion or...
Yeah,
or,
you
or
could be, unbiased.
impartial.
Impartial. That was
So I raised my hand. They were like, oh, and they gave me this look like, really, because I was young at the time. I was like, what would your reason be? I said, well, because I'm the manager of a Burger King and I was held at gunpoint. And it was like the look on her face. It was like,
Shut up!
Oh, Oh, yeah, we're going to go ahead and dismiss this one.
Wait, was it you who was held up at gunpoint?
Yeah, I seriously
It was in that way, but was it for that trial?
Well, no. But
I was going to say, because that would be really weird.
I was the
you
manager
were
of a Burger King, and I was held at gunpoint.
Wow.
And it was just one of those things where I was like, yeah, I guess I'm not doing this one. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to be very unbiased.
You're not going to listen. Yeah.
Anyway, that's my story.
And you're sticking to it?
You're an idiot.
You're an idiot.
That's fair. That's fair.
Hey, we're gonna.
But I'm an idiot that didn't have to serve on jury duty, so whatever.
Duh. Winning.
All right, so the next trigger warning belongs to this next case. We were kind of
more trigger
asked for a couple of viewers to do a true crime thing. So
they're called listeners. They're not viewers.
God, apparently I need to get the YouTube channel going, or we need to. Apparently,
Could they be viewsters?
Viewsters. Listen.
I like that.
Oh, you like that shit? I give you comic gold and you give me nothing. This is horse shit.
Come on, Jerry.
Get it going.
You know, pyrite's also called fool's gold.
All right, so this write-up is about Ed Kempher, the Coed Killer. Either one of you heard of him? Any one of you heard from about Ed Kempher?
I have not.
Also known as the Coed Killer.
The silence is deafening.
So here we go. Ed Kempher the third, because his dad had the same name.
Oh,
same middle name too.
I thought that was his third attempt or something.
Was known later in life as the Coed Killer. Well, before I get into that, my sources were his Wikipedia page, which
it just reminds me of Ally McBeal. Remember how they had the co-ed bathrooms?
Ally McBeal, what the fuck?
Yeah,
how old are you?
How do we go to Ed Kemper to Ally
McBeal?
Can we do another commercial break, please?
No, we're not. And my favorite murder podcast. So anyways, he was born on December 18th, 1948 in Burbank, California, to his mom, Claire Nell, who plays a huge role in this, and his father, Ed
she
Kemper,
won Best Supporting Actress, I think.
the second. To say the marriage was rocky at best might be the understatement of the year. He was a World War II veteran. He was part of the actual testing for the atomic bomb in the proving grounds in the desert out west.
Huh.
He said he'd rather go through both of those again than be associated with his wife again.
Wow.
And it's kind of telling for what happens in the stories. And it's so fucked up. If you have a sensitive mindset, you might want to do it. He's also known as...
If they have a sensitive mindset, they probably have not been listening to this.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So we need to know more disclaimers. We're good now?
Okay. I think you're good.
Okay. He was a massive man beast of a man. He's 6 foot 9 inches, like 300 and some odd pounds. He's a huge man.
Did you say 6 foot and 9 inches?
6 foot.
Those are two separate measurements.
You add them together. 6 foot 9 inches, 300 plus.
Ghosty knows what I'm talking about.
Well, I do too, but I was glossing over it.
You know, it's it right.
He grew as he was growing up. He actually he gets profiled, and they actually get a lot of their serial killer profiles from him. It all kind of starts from him. A lot of the behaviors they would see later on in other serial killers. He used to kill family pets. Behead his sister's dolls,
Jesus,
stuff like that. His sisters, he would play.
I used to date this girl who said anything that had eyes had a soul, even dolls for that matter.
We're not talking about Toy Story now. We're talking about Ed Kemper, not Toy Story.
I'm hoping you didn't date her that long.
2 years.
You idiot.
you idiot.
Shut up!
You
are one pathetic loser.
He used to play with his sisters. He used to play pretend gas chamber and electric trail. That's like
You're
most
an
kids
idiot.
do, right? They play that and they pretend like they were killing
Did you
him.
say Oregon Trail?
No.
Oh,
he had
I played the Oregon Trail.
near-death experience when he.
I always died of
I burned up
dysentery.
a lot of G.I. Joes. Does that count?
I got my eye on you. How many? What? You have triple
the
first name?
firecrackers. I mean,
He's only got one name. He's just Ghosty. He's like Cher.
Oh my God! Is he Ghosty?
Oh,
Triple first name. Oh God, he's a serial killer. Get him out of here!
Get out of here!
And he can like go through walls and stuff. He's a ghost. Anyways, he almost had a near-death experience when he almost drowned. His sister pushed him in a pool. Blah blah blah.
His own personal tragedies. Mike's like, blah 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 blah.
Well, these do play a small role.
La.
I have no sympathy for this man.
Okay, that's fair.
I have no sympathy for him.
I mean, I'm guessing so. Go.
After what he did, no. Everything goes off the rails.
We still don't know.
We still don't know
I'm
yet.
getting there. Don't bury the lead, damn it.
just know he's a co-ed killer.
Yes, we're getting to there,
He's
too.
a co-ed killer.
Everything goes off the rails in 1957 when his parents split and he's forced to live with his mom, who hates him.
Yeehaw!
She locks him in a basement offer for fear that he's going to rape his sisters because of his size. She demeans him every chance he gets. She shows him
6 foot and 9 inches.
She shows him zero love because she's afraid she's going to turn him gay. What? Direct quote. She's afraid she's going to turn him gay.
Come on!
Wait, the sister's afraid of that?
No, the
mother.
The mother.
So if the mother gives him love, it shows any sign of affection, she's afraid that it's going to make him gay.
And this is all what I'm building towards. There's a point I'm going to make at the end, I hope.
How is it that we have listeners in Texas?
I don't know.
Sorry. That was me. Sorry, Texas.
He attempts to reconnect with his father.
My mom's from Texas.
By running away at the age of 14.
Oh, wait, she didn't show me love either.
She kept him for a little while. Or his dad kept him for a little while, then ships him off. Well, he finds out he has a whole new family by the time this happens. He has a whole new family, a whole new brother, and he's remarried.
This family existed.
No.
They started
it happened
a new
after
family.
the divorce.
Okay.
But he very quickly happened. Very, very quickly.
This fucker's setting up franchises.
Yep. Dad ships him off yet again to live with paternal grandparents. Dad's mom and dad.
Okay.
Yet again, the father's too old. The grandfather's too old. And the grandmother treats him exactly like his mom did. And is just terrible to him.
Terrible, yeah.
Demeans him every chance she gets. Finally, Ed snaps in August 7th, 1962, or 64, excuse me. With an agreement with his grandma, he grabs a rifle, shoots her in the head, and because he does not want to see his grandfather see his grandmother like that, kills him as soon as he gets out of the car when he's bringing groceries back. Kills them both.
Jesus.
What did he do with the food?
Big Ed doesn't know what to do at this time, and this is a big point for me, and I don't think a lot of people stress it. He calls his mother to tell him what he did. This is a massive sign that he calls his mother because it fits into what happens later on.
Yeah,
he fits
the
in
narrative.
He calls, in my opinion,
just gloss over something.
He calls her to get attention from her because he's desperate for attention from her his whole life.
Yeah,
the maternal figure. That's a big part of your life. He was quoted, "I just wanted to see what it was like to kill my grandma." So they send him to a secure mental facility where he is diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenic. No fucking shit, right?
Yeah.
In the hospital, he's given an IQ test where he scores a 145. 145 on the IQ test.
Okay.
And the doctor,
and normal is 100 on the bell curve, 100.
I think he even retook it unofficially, got a 162.
Jesus. You know, I took one of those online IQ tests as well, and I got
Mind
like
you, the time.
160.
Yeah, right.
I've never thought about it.
I
really have never thought about it.
Well, it's just one of those stupid things that make you feel good. Why else are you taking it?
I don't do it.
Exactly.
He's crazy. In the end, he's crazy smart. So basically, it's 1964 at the time. They let him start running experiments on the other patients, and he starts manipulating the patients and the doctor's opinions of him. For whatever reason, they decide to release him to his mother. December 18th of 1969. He gets out because he was underage, right, in 1964.
Okay.
Against the recommendation.
His mother has way too much to do with this story. Way too much. It's everything that's revolving around her, of course.
Yep.
That's the pivot point.
Don't bury the lead. And
I'm not burying the lead. I'm bringing it up to light.
He basically gets the doctors to say what he wants to say to let him out, even though they didn't want that. 3 years later, he gets his entire record expunged. The murders were not on his record anymore. Another huge problem.
Wow.
Another big.
I couldn't even get HR to do that after a year.
Yeah, you're never getting those off of him. He attends a community college and tries to become a police officer, but they say because he's too large, he cannot become one.
Yeah,
again, the 6 foot
I've
and
been told
9
that a
inch.
time or two.
Zing! He becomes friends with many of the police officers, which play a role later on because he hangs out with them. All the while, him and his mother are fighting their way. He's fighting to get away from her, but he can't. He keeps on running out of money, so he keeps on needing her. Before long, he gets in a car wreck when he's on a motorcycle. In the settlement, he buys a 1969 Ford Galaxy. From there on out, he picks up a new hobby of picking up prostitutes and letting them go.
That's a hobby?
Yep. All in the while, he has plastic bags, handcuffs,
I remember
knives.
doing that in GTA.
But he starts feeling different urges, so he kind of stops. That's when Big Ed, as he's known, starts getting other
stars
urges.
in the SWAT team following it.
I have to admit, this at this next point, when I was writing this, I had a hard time. I didn't want to write the rest of this because I know what happens. I'm very familiar with this case.
Yeah.
Because I think it's fascinating.
Yeah.
And from the psychological point only.
Psychological?
I don't really go into detail with what happens after the murders because I can't do that. There's 1,000 other true crime podcasts that can do this in much more depth. Go watch one of those.
Yeah,
we're touching on these. I'm talking about. I'm more interested in what have happened from a psychological point and
mycological. It's mycological.
Mycological, and what could have been done to prevent all this terrible shit that's about to happen. So if you want one of those, try and there's a better podcast.
There is a better podcast.
Yes, it felt natural. On May 7, 1962, he picks up two hitchhikers, Marianne Peach and Anita Lucheski, and promptly kills them and puts them in the trunk. Crazy turn of events, he was stopped on the way home with the bodies in the trunks, but the police officer had no idea, obviously, because he was only stopped for a bad tail light. But if he would have stopped him right there, he could have stopped him.
Seriously, how many times, though, and I'm going to aside for just a moment, how many times have you heard that is a story or is a reason for stopping? Oh, you had a bad taillight. And then they're going to check who's in the car. If it's, if the person fits a description.
That would have been 4 murders at the time. Grandma, Grandpa, and these 2 young ladies, right?
But no.
He kills them. It does terrible things to their body. Terrible, which I will not speak of because it's disrespectful.
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
Terrible.
He dumps them in the Loth Perina Mountains. They find parts of them later on. Gross. September 14th, 1972. He picks up a 14-year-old Keoku hitchhiking. He accidentally left his gun and his keys in the car with her in it, but she lets him back in.
Why?
And he
she doesn't know anything about him, though.
No. She had no idea what it was, but she was freaked out. But she was
6'9". That's enough to make you go. Hey.
She's
15 years old. She's 15 years old. She doesn't know any better. As soon as he gets in the car, he promptly kills her, does horrible things to her body, and ditches her.
Are you calling 15-year-olds idiots?
In the sense, like, what was she didn't know any better.
Oh, come
on. Naive. We can say that.
All right, fair enough.
Young and naive. We're all there.
January 7th, 1973. Big Ed picks up Cindy Shaw.
Did you ever hitchhike?
No.
At any time?
Hell
That's why nobody hitchhikes anymore.
There was a woman, and I'll let you get back to it in a moment here, but there was a woman, so there's like this little store nearby. It's called Quality Dairy in the area that we're at. Now you know exactly where we're at. Anyway.
Dick. I was off. I thought I turned it off. Sorry.
No, don't worry. I'll boost that.
Oh my god.
So there is this little convenience store that's nearby. I'll just use that instead. If you didn't hear what I was on the phone. And this woman comes up to me and she's like, "Hey, can I get a ride?" I'm like, "Oh, where are you headed?" "Oh, I'm headed in such and such street." Just happened to be the same direction that I was going because I was going to meet up with a friend and we were going to watch a basketball game. And so I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just going to get some beer here and I'm going to go head out and hang out with him." So hop in whenever you're ready. So she's out there smoking a cigarette. She opens my car door and she's like just billowing out this smoke from her mouth into the car. The car is like 2 or 3 years old. She's like, "Wow, nice car. It looks so pretty." Just spewing out smoke like a fucking chimney. And she's ashing into my beautifully pristine. It still has that new car smell. Anyway. And it's all like color-keyed seats and everything. It's this nice surf blue color is what it is. And so she finally gets in. She ashes a little bit more into the seat, into the well and outside of the door, whatever. Rolls up the window. We're on our way now down the street. And first thing she says is, "So are you a cop?" No. "Do you know any cops?" And truthfully, I do, but no. Why? I could really go for giving a blowjob right now. And I just look at her with the most deadpan of all expressions like, "I can't help you." Oh my God, did I just say that out loud? Oh my God. Turns out I picked up a fucking prostitute on the way to my friend's house. I didn't know this, but there was another convenience store of the same name just right on the way to his place. She's like, "Can you drop me off at insert convenience name store here?"
It's already too late, man.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. And then she's like, "Can I use your phone?" And in my complete pure idiocy, I'm like, "Yeah, go ahead." And so I have this random number now on my phone. You know those times where you think like something happens and you don't think much of it. It's like, oh, well, I'm glad I did this, X, Y, Z, whatever. I'll use it for later on. Well, a friend of mine, she asked me if I needed some of these little alcohol swab packs. And I'm like, yeah, sure. I guess I'll never know when I need those, or I'll just keep them in the car for whatever purposes. Well, little did I know that about 2 years later, I would actually have those come in handy, because this woman's face, I kid you not, was all covered in like zits and pussing, and it was disgusting. And she's got my phone up to this pus, and when she pulled it away, it was pockmarked with little bits of pus. And I just said, yeah, you can just go ahead and put it right there in the cup holder. The moment she left, I'm feverishly ripping out these little alcohol swabs, getting into the floor.
I think it would be that point where you just say, hey, keep that.
Just like, I'll just cancel the contract.
You can have this.
I'd rather just pay the $300 to get out of
a new
this.
phone.
Should grab a burner phone next time I pick up a Prosy.
And back to the story. January 1973, Big Ed picks up Cindy Shaw, living with his mom at the time. He picked her up from Calabrino College, killed her, did unspeakable things for many days to her body, then dumped her body right after that.
I'm glad you gloss over these things.
I can't do it, man. I read them, and I had a hard time doing it. I already knew him because I followed this kid pretty close, but just reading him again just made him that much real, and I can't do it to, like, it feels like it would be...
No, don't.
The poor family.
Let's just continue on.
February 5th, 1973. Less than a month later, here's a key part of it, and I didn't notice this when I was reading it. Ed had a massive fight with his mom.
Uh-oh.
Because of this
She's
fight,
back in the picture.
He's living with her this whole time. This whole time all these murders were going on, he's living with her. He decided to deal with his emotions by finding more victims. He found Rosalind Thorpe and Allison Liu, and picked her out of the University of California, Santa Cruz.
So really, he's killing all these women because he really wants to kill his mother.
Jesus, dude. You just stole my freaking thunder.
I'm just guessing. I'm just putting this out there in the universe.
Basically, yeah. And that's what's about to happen next.
Well, hit him with the outro.
He did unspeakable things to their body and dumped them in the Eden Canyon. Everything changes on Night Court. Hit him with the outro. No. Everything changes on April 2nd, 1973.
Oh, April
so this
2nd,
is less than it. There's only a year this happens all. Okay.
Uh-huh. We were at February 3rd. Now we're at April 17th.
April 20th.
20th.
This whole time frame happens within a year.
Okay.
After his mother, Clennell Shandberg at the time, comes home late from a party and wakes him up, they have words, and he says goodnight. He waits for her to fall asleep. He comes back and kills her with a claw hammer.
Jesus. Oh.
He did some of the most obscene, like what he did to the other ones versus what he did to this one.
Yeah.
Terrible. Just, I don't even want to talk about it.
I want to ask you what they did, but I don't want to ask you.
I'm not going to tell you.
Tell me.
I'm not going to tell you.
I'm going to go look that up.
Don't, man. Don't.
Oh, all right. Then I won't look it up.
He stuffs her in a closet.
But we can make Ghosty look it up.
I ain't looking that shit up.
He stuffs her in a closet and goes to a bar.
I'm waiting for
he
this.
acts like nothing happens.
I'm waiting for this segment to end. I'm not lying.
We're almost there. Then this dipshit decides that it was not enough for him and calls his mom's best friend, Sally Hallett.
Oh my god!
Tells her to come over and watch a movie. She gets there.
Oh, with the original Netflix and kill.
No, kills her. In that moment, everything changes for him, because this is the first murder after the mom. Yeah, everything changed. At that moment, he snapped. He loses it because he's not getting a reward for it. He does not get the same rush because it's not his mom. It turns out all he wanted to do was kill his mom. He just couldn't do it prior to that moment of killing all the other ones.
So he had to basically practice on all these people.
Build his way up.
Yep.
Yeah, it was building up an immunity. So
it was totally different at that point. He freaks out. He goes on the run. Then he tries to turn himself several times. He tries to confess to it, but none of his cop friends believe him that he actually did it. Finally, he finds somebody that he was really close to, told him everything that he did, and they arrested him. Wow. He was declared sane and was found guilty on November 8th of 1973. That's kind of crazy that the trial was only like 5 months later. We never have that anymore. He requested death by torture for himself. He wanted that. He wanted to die.
So he's a masochist, is what you're saying?
No, at that point.
Or did he just feel like that was to equate?
He said all the emotion and everything just hit him all at once. He's like, "Oh shit, I shouldn't have been doing this," and they didn't go for it.
So he's like, can I get a do-over here?
So they gave him 7 years to life for each count. He's in prison with actually other serial killers like Manson. He was in there with, and some other little
Gacy.
guy. No, they're all in the same hospital, and he actually he despises the other ones because he thinks he's
better than them.
Yeah, he does a whole bunch of stupid shit. He
reads
children.
IQ.
He narrates children's books from prison.
Don't let him near children.
No, he just narrates. Yeah, well, whatever. He disdains other serial killers because they kill at random without purpose.
He's the real sideshow Bob.
He's been denied parole every couple of years, and most of the time he doesn't even want a parole hearing. He turns it down because he's like, I shouldn't not get out. His next attempt is in 2024, but he said he doesn't want to get out. He knows he shouldn't be there. Speaking of one dick to the other,
that's heavy.
Yeah. This is why we don't have a true crime murder podcast. Like I felt bad. Like this might be the one and only time we ever do this.
I'm glad that you just completely condensed it into one entire episode because
this
is the one that no one's going to listen to.
No, actually, it'll probably be our best one.
Actually, I take that back. The next one is the one that they're not going to listen to because they're turned off now. They're like, I'm done with these guys.
This is a one-off. I don't know if we'll do it again. We'll see how it goes. I
had a one-off before we started.
Oh God. Speaking of dicks,
I was gonna say I was doing that while we were been going while you were talking.
I saw you rubbing. That's why I turned my back on you that time. I had a feeling something was going on. I'm like, what the hell's going on over there?
No wonder why you grabbed a bunch of Twizzlers.
As soon as he heard that 9 inches, he was all over it. Hey, this has been blowing my mind. The other day, dude, you're a whore of a cat.
Better still got something to spare.
Get away from me.
That's right. I just saw the cat coming downstairs.
I've seen more times
on
Twitter.
Pussy now?
Well,
we're
jumping all around.
Yeah, sorry.
I seen this the other day on Twitter and everywhere else.
Agreed.
I can't imagine what it's like to be a woman, because this happened several times. I noticed it in like one Twitter feed, and like 4 later they said it. They open up their DMs and there's unsolicited dick pics in their direct messages.
Yeah, in their DMs.
This happens a lot.
A friend of mine, I asked her about it
Couldn't
too.
you have started the show with this?
I could have skipped all the other bullshit.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I have a friend too who's like she posts quite a bit of pictures out there too, and she's posts like kind of half nudes, not quite all the way nudes, but you can see most of her boobs. Anyway, and I asked her like, so you must get a lot of dick pics as well. She's like, you'd be surprised at how many I don't get, but I do get the occasional. Most of my supporters are actually like really nice people, but the fact that she still gets them, half of them were from me at that time.
Oh Jesus, guys, what are you doing? What is this shit? Like, why are you randomly sending unsolicited, like somebody you're not even in a relationship, dick pics? Like, you randomly
Who says it's unsolicited?
Them open the people, like,
but here's the thing:
it's not in their things.
If you open the door, one time, then it's okay, right? Is that how that works?
What? Welcome to cancel culture. Between my bullshit true crime story and
I told you this
segment,
is the one that they're not going to listen to.
Skip the segment. Anyway,
that's a little diddly for that.
What other
that
part
was
of
an
this
unsolicited skippage, by the way?
That was shocking to me. You heard of OnlyFans, right?
I am familiar with OnlyFans.
There's a whole market where guys send money to these ladies or guys, whatever
that they're
into, and they ask for ratings of their dick.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, okay, you're paying these people to do this, right? So one, you're either going to get exactly what you want. They're paid to stroke your ego. And two, or they're paid
something else.
Or Jesus. And now we're canceled.
Winning.
Yeah.
Or two, they're paid to demean you. Either way, you're paying for the same thing. What are you possibly getting out of this? I don't see what people are getting out of it. Like,
well, see,
I'm not. But to be clear, I'm not. We don't slut shame on this show. We don't. So, ladies of OnlyFans or guys or whatever, anybody on OnlyFans, who cares? Do whatever you got to do. But like that, there's a whole huge.
You don't slut shame. What were we doing? What were we doing during the break?
I was slut shaming you.
Yeah,
that was different.
But that's not on the show. You weren't even there.
But I don't see what the end game is. But whatever. I don't care. We're way over time frame on this one. Yes, we are. I just said we are. Thanks for listening. I don't think we're going to do another true crime one because this one made me feel so dirty.
Yeah, don't invite me back for that.
Yeah, it was not what I wanted to do.
You want to talk about superheroes or something like that? Let me know.
For the ones that wanted it, there's your true crime one. I'm not going to do another one. I don't think I didn't.
It kind of makes everything feel a little heavy.
I'll do a false.
I didn't
crime.
like it.
I just make shit up as I go along.
Writing it was so hard. Like
I could imagine.
Like it took me I had to finish it last night because it took me so many days to actually do it that I read a little bit. I'm like, why am I doing this? This is so stupid.
Yeah.
People asked us for it. I tried to do it. I don't think I can do it again.
It's just not. It's not part of your personality, dude.
I can't do it. But I did it. Anything for them, I guess. But
so you're
anything.
You're a fan
you
Yeah.
do
A slut.
anything.
hey,
Hey, you got a lot of Y's on there.
yeah. Hello, OnlyFans. I just need a picture of a young lady, and apparently I'm reviewing flaccid penises. I'm glad we can laugh about it now. As always, thanks for listening. You can follow us on Twitter at There's a Better Podcast. Same name on the gram. And email us at There's a Better Podcast at gmail.com. And tell us never to do this shit again.
Yeah, for the love of God.
Hit them with the outro. God, I feel dirty right now. I need a shower.
You are dirty.
That was fucking terrible.
Yeah. That's all I got.
I didn't want to do that.
Oh, you know what we forgot to do? We forgot to tell them to tune in for the next episode.
They won't anyways.
It was the 007 episode.
Oh, yeah.
Boat.
Tag it in right now real quick.
Yes. Yep. Oh, hey, before you go, it's Tony. Don't forget, next episode is episode 007. We're going to be taking on James Bond. We're going to sound a little bit like James Bond, and we'll have some, what were those again?
Martinis. Shaken, not
martini,
stirred.
Yes.
Shaken.
Medium dry martini,
Not
lemon
stirred.
peel, shaken, not stirred.
Or stirred.
Whatever.
Or just give me the fucking gin. You know what? Just keep the rest of it. That's what I want. The gin.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you
Or
just
vodka. You want to do vodka? You want to do
shake.
vodka martinis?
We can do whatever.
I'm a cheap date when it comes to vodka.
I don't know. I don't need the vermouth in there.
What is vermouth anyway?
It's like a wine. It's like a kind of a variation of wine.
Interesting.
Why did I actually seriously answer that like I knew?
Is it really a wine
Yeah,
thing? Oh, I didn't
legitimately
know that.
it is.
Well, if you know the answer, then you know the answer. There is always a better podcast, but this is the one that tells you what vermouth is. So fuck all those other podcasts. All right, let's get the fuck out of here. See you next time.